Okay, guys, so in your red folder, the packet of work that I sent home last week, you have a few multiplication quizzes. So I want you to do multiplication quiz J. And I know we haven't done these for a while, so you might be a little rusty. I understand that. So let's do this. Let's fold it in half like we typically do. And I want you to time yourself, okay? So remember, the first half is practice. Just go ahead and fill the whole thing in, okay? You don't have to time yourself on the top half. But then let's try to speed it up. So on the bottom half, time yourself, and I'm going to give you an extra minute today. So let's see how many you can get done in 3 minutes. Some of you are well under that. I know that when we were back in class, you were getting all of those 40 questions in a minute or a minute and a half. So I'd love to see that. So go ahead and write your time down, and we're going to just go ahead and finish the whole thing today, even if it takes you more minutes than that, more minutes than 3. So you just keep on going, but work on speed, okay? Secondly, we are going to have our Chapter 17 math test today, and I want you guys to take a look at your scores for your Chapter 17 review that we did on Friday. I want you, if you missed 1 or 2, then you're in good shape. If you missed more than that, you need to look at that and see where the problem is, okay? And if you need any help on that, I'm here for you to talk you through it. Okay, I just wanted to go over a few problems that I noticed to make sure that we're getting this down correctly. So let's take a few problems together, and what I'd like you to do is just get your math journal or piece of paper. You don't have to turn this in, but I want you to work on these problems with me just so that you are perfectly clear on all of the steps. Okay, so we have 9 times 329. Remember the steps. We take our multiplier and multiply by our ones, okay? So we have 9 times 9, which is 81, right? So we want to make sure, because 81 is 8 tens and 1 1, we want to make sure our 1 is in the ones column and our 8 is in the tens column. A few errors that I saw that people flip this around. They put their 8 tens in the ones place and they put their 1 1 in the tens place. So make sure you're thinking 81 has 8 tens, so it needs to go in the tens place. Okay, then we multiply our multiplier times our tens, and 9 times 2 is 18, right? And then we have to add 8 more, okay? So we have 18 plus 8 would be 26, right? So we put our 6 down, all right? And we're going to put, we have to rename our 20 tens for 200. So we put our 2 up here. Okay, so we have 9 times 3 is 27, plus 2 more is 29 hundredths. And since we don't have any thousands, we can just go ahead and bring that 2 down here and make sure you put your comma after the thousands place. Okay. One other thing that I've been noticing is that people are forgetting that we're multiplying. They know that we're supposed to add, but I've been seeing adding 9 plus 3 instead of 9 times 3 and then adding. So remember the pattern. Multiply, multiply, add if you've renamed, okay? Multiply and add if you've renamed. Okay, so that's one of the problems I've seen. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one, okay, 763, and multiplied that by 4. Okay, so we start with our ones. 4 times 3 is 12. We put the 2 in the ones place and the 1 in the tens place. And then we multiply. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 more is 25. So we changed our 20 tens in for 200, so we had to rename those, right? So our 20 goes up here, our 5 goes down here. And then we multiply our hundreds. So 4 times 7 hundredths is 28 hundredths plus 2 more hundreds. Okay, so we have 28 plus 2 more is 30, right? 30 hundredths, which is the same as 3,000. Okay? All right, here's some, well, let's do one more, okay? So these are all problems that many of you guys missed, so make sure that you're going through those steps carefully, okay? All right, so here's 5, our multiplier, and we're multiplying by 92, and we multiply our ones first, so 5 times 2 is 10. We put our 0 ones and our 1 10 up in the tens column. And then remember, we're going to add that after we multiply. So 5 times 5 times 9 is 45, plus 1 more is 46. And since we don't have any hundreds, we can just bring our 400s down. Okay, here's the other problem that I saw. Okay, so I saw a lot of people finding the basic math facts, and they say, oh, I know what 4 times 3 is, no problem. And so they wrote 12, and then they moved on to the next problem. Do you see what the mistake is? Yeah, we're multiplying 4 times 30. And remember, multiplying the basic math facts helps us to know how to do it in our head. But we've got to remember that these were 3 tens. So I want to show that this is 12 tens. And the way I do that is I put a 0 in the ones place. There was a 0 here, so I need to put a 0 here. Okay. Then when I'm multiplying by the hundreds, I want to make sure I have a 0 for the ones and a 0 for the tens. Okay, so here's my basic math fact. 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, but I'm not done because I was multiplying hundreds. All right, so I want to put a 0 for the tens place and a 0 for the ones place. Okay, one other thing that we need to review is when we were deciding which numbers needed to go to the nearest 1,000 or nearest 100. Actually, I don't think you have any of these on your test, but let's just go ahead and review this anyway. When we have a number that's in the thousands place, but we've been asked to find the nearest 100, we need to think, okay, what is the nearest 100? Okay, so we have 6,000. And then if we are counting by 100s, look at how many hundreds there are until we get to 7,000, okay? 100, 6,200, 6,500, 6,800, 6,900, 7,000, okay? So when we're asked to find the nearest 1,000, or I'm sorry, to the nearest 100, we want to decide, is this number staying at 700s or going up to the next 100, which is 6,800? And the tens place tells us what to do, tells us to stay. So the nearest 100 would be 6,700. This was a problem that a lot of you guys missed, so I wanted to make sure that was a little bit clearer. I know it's been a while since we rounded to the nearest 100. It's been several months, so that's okay. But you won't have to do any of that on our test today. You'll just be doing regular multiplication problems and then also some multi-step adding, subtracting, multiplying word problems. So you'll have 3 of those. Okay, I think that's it. So please check your score for Friday's math. If you missed 1 or 2, you won't have to worry about correcting anything. But if you miss more than that, you might want to resubmit it. Let me check it for you. Okay? So don't forget Multiplication Quiz J and Math Test 17, which is also in your red folder, that work packet I sent home.